Hey guys, it's Dion with My Fair Lawyer, and today we're going to talk about a very exciting subject, powers of attorney, also known as POAs. What is a POA? A POA is a document that tells the world that you have named someone else to act on your behalf because you are unavailable. You're unavailable because you're on vacation, you're out of the country, you're out of the state, you're having surgery, whatever the reason, you're unavailable and you've named someone else to act on your behalf. Now, there are different types of powers of attorney, and there's a vocabulary that goes along with each of them. The principal is the person who's giving up the power, and the person who's receiving the power is the agent or attorney in fact. Today, we're going to talk about three different types of powers of attorney, or POAs. There's the first one, the general durable power of attorney, and that's my favorite. I like it because the scope of power that is given to the attorney in fact or your agent is very broad and general. They can handle issues with finance, taxes, real estate, your mortgage, you name it, it's in the POA, you check it off, and that agent can do all of those, handle all of those matters for you in your absence. Now, what I like most about the general durable POA is that in a case where you become incapacitated, that agent can still continue to act on your behalf. They can still handle all of your affairs while you're incapacitated. And what do I mean by incapacitated? Follow this scenario. You're scheduled to have heart surgery, you go in for the surgery, and something bad happens, you're left in a coma. Well, while you're in a coma and recovering in the hospital, your agent can continue to work on your behalf. They can continue to keep everything going. Now, with the second type of power of attorney, the special non-durable POA, the abilities for your agent to act on your behalf are much more narrow. You have specified you want them to act only on your taxes, only on your mortgage, only on your finances. And when you become incapacitated, when that coma situation occurs, that agency relationship ends. That agent can no longer act on your behalf because you have now become incapacitated. Whereas with a general durable power, that agent can continue to act on your behalf despite the fact that you're now incapacitated. And then there's the third one. This one I feel that everybody should have, and it's the medical POA, or also known as the Advanced Directives. With a medical POA, you're basically saying that whatever happens to me, should I become incapacitated, should I be in a coma, should I have dementia, Alzheimer's, a car accident, and I'm intubated, whatever the situation is, I know what I would like people to do on my behalf. I would want to be resuscitated, or I would not want to be resuscitated. All of these matters would be handled by you now while you're able to do that. Just to drive the message home, there's a case. It's the Terri Schiavo case. It happened in March of 1990 when Terri Schiavo, only at the age of 26 years old, was found unconscious in her apartment home. She was married at that time for 6 years, had no children at the time. Now, Terri Schiavo was resuscitated, but by the time she was resuscitated, she had suffered such severe brain damage due to the lack of oxygen to her brain that she never regained consciousness. She was described as being in a persistent vegetative state. Her parents wanted to continue all the life-saving methods, all the different therapies and experimental therapies to try to see if she would regain consciousness, and her husband, after some time, gave up. He felt that she had expressed during their marriage that if something bad were to happen to her, to end her life. She did not want to have her life prolonged. That was his position. And her parents, who were devout Catholics, felt just the opposite. They wanted to try everything to save her life. Well, this case went through several appeals, I believe 15 different appeals, and it went as far as the President of the United States, who was then George W. Bush, who then signed legislation to allow the case to go back to the federal court for trial. When the case went back to the federal court, the judge decided that Ms. Schiavo's feeding tube should be removed. Now, this meant that she would die. Now, this had been 15 years. The case had been going on. She had been languishing in this state. And the family, they were noticeably frustrated and saddened. Her husband, who refused to divorce her, had already had another girlfriend, had a baby with his girlfriend, but refused to divorce her because he insisted he wanted to be able to act on her behalf and to do what she would have wanted him to do. Mrs. Schiavo's feeding tube was removed in mid-March of 2005, and on March 31st, 2005, she died. And the moral of the story, guys, is that an advanced directive is not just for old people. It's not just for people who are terminally ill or people in a vegetative state. It's for all of us. At any moment, we could be incapacitated. It could be a cardiac arrest. It could be a car accident. It could be anything. And we would want it to be really clear what we would want. Do we want to be resuscitated? Do we want our life to be prolonged? Do you want a feeding tube? All of these are issues that we can decide now while we can. To find an advanced directive, you can just go to your local hospice. You can go online. I believe there's 5 wishes online that you can get, as well as the POAs. You can go to LegalZoom, Rocket Lawyer, PDF fillers. There's so many resources online where you can fill out a POA on your own. You don't need a lawyer for this. That's why I'm giving you guys all the goods. So guys, the moral of the story here is get your affairs in order now while you can. You can have your general POA, you can have your special POA, but if nothing else, make sure you have a medical POA. That's all for now. Please like and subscribe and comment below. If you've had a situation where you've had to be an agent for somebody else, or you've known of somebody who, unfortunately had to have somebody make the decisions on their behalf because they didn't have their paperwork in order, feel free to give that story as well in the comments below. Thanks again. I'll see you next time. Dion with My Fair Lawyer. Bye for now.